Okay, I think we can all agree on one thing, and that's that the best part of Breaking Bad is the part where Skylar sings to Ted for his birthday. No, I hear you guys protesting right now. We all know that is actually that's goated acting, and that is just it's statistically. I surveyed 100 people, top 5 answers on the board. That is the favorite scene of the whole series. I mean, come on, who doesn't like where she's like, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday." Oh God, sorry, I'm cringing myself out just doing it. Yeah, it's hard to watch, but if you guys haven't figured it out, this is gonna be the Breaking Bad episode. Yeah, 100%. Let's get to it. Welcome everybody back to Norbit's Just Board, episode number 78. We're getting up there, boys. Getting older. I've been rewatching Breaking Bad, and I do gotta say I love that show. I really can't sing its praise enough. I think I've watched it like, oh shit, I've probably watched it through 4 times, I'd say. And I always heard good things about it way back in the day. And it was, I think, 2013. It's crazy to me because it's 10 years old, right? So, like, that's old at this point for TV series. Yet it holds up perfectly. It's amazing, even after 10 years. So, I'm going back. Oh, sorry, I hit the mic there. I, it ended in 2013, and I think I watched it for the first time in 2014. It came on Netflix at that time. And I remember people always saying, because I worked at a future shop at the time, the thing that used to exist before Best Buy. And yeah, I used to work there, and all my coworkers were like, "Man, you gotta get Breaking Bad. It's so epic. It's so awesome." But like a lot of those TV series, if you guys remember, it was a crazy wild time back then, like HBO and all that. I know Breaking Bad's AMC, but all those kind of TV series like AMC, HBO, like Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, all that stuff, it was fucking expensive when a series came out, especially on HBO. Like Christ, what was Game of Thrones? I think Game of Thrones was damn near $100 per season, like on Blu-ray. And now it's like I've been getting rid of some stuff for some spring cleaning, and I can't give away. I have like 3 seasons of Game of Thrones left on Blu-ray, and I can't give the fuckers away. Like nobody wants them. And part of that's due to physical media being kind of abolished at this point, and then the other half is just people don't they don't give a fuck about Game of Thrones anymore. Nobody gives a fuck about Game of Thrones, and it's so funny. It kind of like it's actually sad in a way. I know I said I was talking about Breaking Bad, but let me talk about Game of Thrones for 1 minute. It's really sad how like Game of Thrones was fucking revolutionary. I remember, and that was a show where I was there from the first because I got a demo disc at when I worked at Best Buy Future Shop. I got a demo disc there, and it had the first episode for free or whatever. It's like, okay, well, I'll check it out. I mean, it's free, whatever. And I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones, and I was like hooked. And I'm like, oh my God. Then I got the season, and I watched all of the first season, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this show is so like emotional, and it's just plays with your heartstrings. It's gonna be so amazing. And it was, to be fair, it was a great show. But then near the end, it got so rushed, and like George R. R. Martin, is that his name? Yeah, I think so. He wasn't done the books yet, so everything kind of shit the bed there. Like it just, yeah, it went downhill fast because he wasn't done the books, so they didn't have anything to go off of really. And then he kind of told them how it goes, and everybody's like, well, if you're telling them how it goes, just write the fucking book, guy. Like I actually don't know. And I'm not gonna look it up right now. I'm really lazy. I'm in like the chill zone right now. I'm just gonna do a quick little half an hour pod with you guys because I love you. But I'm just like, I yeah, I'm fucked up right now. Like I'm so hungry now. I didn't eat all day. I'm starving, but this is my only time. I gotta go pick up my kids soon, so this is the only time to record. So I'm just taking advantage of it. I'm gonna eat on the run, and of course, I was sorry. I'm going off on a tangent here, but that's what I do. That's my thing. That's my signature move. Uh yeah, I was disc golfing, and I fucking before I went disc golfing, I fucking rolled my ankle like really bad off a step and got fucked up, and then I really wanted to go disc golfing, so I did 18 holes on that fucking twisted foot, and now it's more fucked up. So it's been a fun day just nursing that and between everything else. But sorry, that's my little side story about the condition of my body. I just can't get a break. Like it's like, hey, can you go a week without fucking yourself up? Okay, can we do that? Can we like not be a klutz or fucking anything? Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm finally feeling pretty good right now. This is a good week. No, your knee acts up. Fuck. And it's like, oh well, I feel better this week. Oh no, not you rolled your ankle, you dumb fuck. Like, sorry, I'm angry. I'm using up my I'm using up my fuckometer early here, or fuckometer if you prefer. But yeah, so Game of Thrones, back to that. Yeah, they just kind of rushed it, I think, and they didn't really have source material to go off of. And there's some writer shit. I don't know the full story. I just know the last season was like really bland to me. I didn't like a lot of weird shit happened really quick, and a lot of it just didn't make sense. And at like the biggest like weird thing to me at the end was where like Bran Stark becomes like the king in the North, and it's like why is he the king? It's like, oh, why do you think I came all this way? It's like, what the fuck? Like, just nothing added up. Like, nobody, like, if something is written really well, like Breaking Bad, you can usually predict things, or you can usually see things happen earlier just because of the way characters progress, or kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's twists. That's the whole point of twists. But usually a twist is like, this twist where like Bran is like the king was like more like a, what the fuck? Like, weird three-eyed raven wheelchair kid is gonna be fucking the king. That's gonna go well. No offense, kid. Not trying to be an ableist or anything, but pretty much anybody in the kingdom will just, they can just roll you off a cliff essentially at that point. So, you know, good luck. The fully functional king got stabbed in the back by Jaime Lannister, and he was, fully functional. So they don't show the aftermath after what happens there, but I'm pretty sure Bran Stark got assassinated 100%. He's rolling down a fucking hill off King's Landing full force. But either way, yeah, rip Game of Thrones, and rip to people that like the books, because I don't think Georgie Baby's going to be finishing those books anytime soon, if at all. But yeah, back to what I was going to say. The whole point of this is Breaking Bad. But actually, I'm sorry. I do actually have to I have to make one footnote before I get into Breaking Bad, and my footnote is that the people, if you guys didn't know, the people on that Titanic vessel did die. I did report. I think I did report that last week. But what I was gonna say is that there's a bunch of like weird conspiracies going around right now of people saying like it was planned, and there's all these people talking about a refugee boat and stuff, and it's, I don't know, guys. I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, I'm not saying they're lying, because I don't know, but I really don't. I don't know. I was joking last week about it being a conspiracy just because they're billionaires and they all died. And so, like, I could see somebody wanting some will money and stuff like that. But there's people saying, like, the Navy knew about it 16 hours before, and they knew where they were. They just played it off like they didn't. And there's all this other stuff. And there's a refugee boat that went missing. And I'm like, guys, I don't know if it's all connected. I really don't. It, I don't think everything's a conspiracy. I think we just need to sometimes, people just go and do dumb shit, and it might be conspiratorial, maybe the wives of those billionaires planned it. They wanted to murder them. But I don't know. I can't see it. It's there's lots of other ways to get rid of somebody rather than take them down to the Titanic. But I will say I'm probably going to hell for sure, because I've been laughing at like all the fucking. There's so many like crazy memes coming out about it now this whole week about like the control stick he used and all this other stuff. Like my favorite one is that I always love the memes with the Idris Elba on Hot Ones when he takes the bomb and he's like choking. He's like, "What the fuck?" Fucking love that meme. And it's like I think they use that meme, and it's like it's like 1 minute you're in the submarine, and the next minute you're eating on the Titanic. It's like, what the fuck? Oh shit, that made me laugh so hard. But yeah, the memes have been pretty fire over this, and it's a little again, it's a little morbid because people did die, but the comedian side of me, I can't help, but I love laughing. It's laughter does it helps people move on. It helps people. It helps people process shit like that. Sorry, I'm yawning. Jesus Christ. Oh, been a long day, week, month, year, everything. Been a long life, guys. But yeah, so yeah, I've been enjoying all those memes. And the last footnote before I got to the main presentation here was apparently World of Warcraft is releasing a hardcore mode for WoW Classic. So I just got like the cliff notes here from their they did a Facebook post, I think. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, it's just called World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore. Death on Hard. Sorry, let me just fucking grab my phone so I can read it. I'm getting blind too, guys. I'm getting blind, deaf, and I was already half retarded. So here we are. So yeah, Death on Hardcore Realms is permanent. That's pretty normal for the hardcore. And it's like PvP battles are opt-in. I don't know what that means. Like, I'm guessing like you have to opt in like anytime you go PvPing. Like, I don't know. It says PvP battlegrounds and battle masters. So like Arathi Basin and stuff like that are disabled. Most creatures will leash when leaving the area or zone. So by leash, I'm guessing that's the coding for them to go back to their spawn. Below level 60, all dungeons will have at least a 24-hour timer. So I'm guessing that means you can only do each dungeon once every 24 hours. New feature, Duel to the Death. I'm not sure what that is. I'm guessing Duel to the Death means you can duel other players, and then obviously if you die, you die. They're talking about gameplay, zone disruption, and malicious player killing outside of consensual PvP will not be tolerated on hardcore realms. That's the part that I kind of wanted to touch on, and I didn't really get it because I'm like, what is that? It says gameplay, literally like gameplay, zone disruption, and malicious player killing outside of consensual PvP will not be tolerated. I don't understand. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like I know what they're saying. They're saying griefing essentially, but like, what are you gonna do? Isn't that part of the experience? Like, it's the same with when you played on a fucking World of Warcraft. When you played on a PvP server, like you knew when you were going into neutral territories, i.e., fucking Stranglethorn Vale, you knew your ass was getting ganked, like around every corner. You'd always get griefed, and it sucked. Yeah, it was annoying, but like that's the game. I mean, go play on a PvE server. I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want. I personally liked the danger of possibly running into enemies, like from the enemy faction, right? So that's why I like playing PvP servers. But if you fucking are worried about that, then don't do it. And hardcore is supposed to be hardcore. So yeah, if you're not leveled up much and you're going outside the gates of Stranglethorn Vale and you see players, like, is that, and they kill you, is that considered griefing? Is that considered zone disruption? Like, I don't know. I again, I don't play WoW anymore, but I like to kind of keep up with it because I don't understand how they're gonna implement this. Like, I don't. It sounds like it's basically just the same game, only death is permanent and there's no actual PvP arena. Like, there's no arenas or battlegrounds because obviously you die every time because you always die in those. That's kind of the point. And And yeah, but like the duel to the death. So is that the thing? Can you only like challenge players even if they're on the opposing faction? Can you only just do that? I don't know. So it would be, I think it'd be something to take a look at for sure. It would definitely be interesting, but I don't understand their last rules there. I hope they explain that in a video or something, because I don't understand what zone disruption means. And like, again, I kind of get it, but it's like, how are you gonna monitor that? Some kid's gonna fucking be like, I got killed at the gates to Strathholm. I was going to fucking run a dungeon, and there was a Horty in there, and he was horny for my dark elf blood. Sorry, they're night elves, I guess, in WoW. I've been playing too much Elder Scrolls. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd mention that because I'm an OG WoW guy. So it's neat that they're adding a hardcore thing. I'm guessing that's because of Diablo, because Diablo's always kind of had a hardcore mode where death is permanent. So, but there was no fucking rules against griefing in Diablo 2. Somebody came into your realm and fucking killed you. Sorry, you just lost that hardcore character. It's the way she goes. But I don't know. People are fucking babies these days, so it's probably what happened. Anyways, I want to talk, yeah, a little bit about good old Breaking Bad, because God, what a great show! Like, from start to finish. And I originally kind of wanted to have Justin on here because I want to kind of talk to him about some plot points, and maybe we'll do that in the future at some point. But I'm just rewatching it right now. I actually just started season 5, like the last season um of my rewatch. But again, I've watched it like 4 times. It's so good. I just love the writing is so tight. And of course, like I did in the intro bit there's a couple cringy parts between like Walter and Skylar that are like I have to like fast forward through them because they're just kind of cringy. And then there's the one, where the Ted Beneke where she's singing him happy birthday. Jesus Christ, that is DEFCON level 18 cringe, like level 60 elite cringe. That's how bad it is. But I was just like, no, I'm not doing that. But I couldn't. So I tried to. I really tried, but I had to grab the remote fast. I'm like, no, fast forward to this shit. Fuck this. But like the writing, the character development of each and every character, and the acting, every actor is just perfect, and all their roles are perfect. Like Dean Norris as Hank, he plays that character so fucking well. And the character evolution of Walt from the first episodes, where he's just literally this kind of timid dude. He's this high school teacher that's, and oh, sorry, I should say this now. Spoilers for Breaking Bad. If if you've never watched it, God Lord, if you haven't watched it, go watch it right now. I mean it. It is so worth your time. It really is. It's on Netflix, or you can buy the Blu-rays if you're a troglodyte. You know, loser. Just kidding. Chill. Calm down. But yeah, it's definitely worth your time. But spoiler alert. Go watch it first and come back to this episode, when you finish it. But Walt, his character development from this timid guy that we learn he's, gonna die of cancer. He's got terminal cancer, and basically his whole thing is he gets a mindset shift. So he goes from being this, guy that's kind of accepted less his whole life. And we learn more backstory about him, how he had this whole company, Gray Matter Technology, that he started with these 2 other people, but he got bought out early on, and they ended up being basically billionaires, like multi millionaires off this company. And, Walt got bought out early for pennies on a dollar, essentially, but he was the brain behind it. He was kind of the big brain about it. And like that's such good writing because it shows like it just shows that he got essentially got taken advantage of for all that stuff. And so he wants to make money, but he doesn't want to go to them. You know, they offered to pay for his treatment, and that's early on. He lies to Skylar and he lies and says that yeah, they are paying, but it's really him making money from meth. And he chose to do that path to, you know, make the money himself. He wanted to be kind of a self-made man because he was the one that made Gretchen and Elliot really rich with gray matter, essentially, but he doesn't get any credit because he got bought out early. So it's this whole thing, and now, and you can just see his character change as he, you know, is this timid guy cooking meth, and then he learns, you know, well, I can do this really good because I'm, you know, a chemist and I'm extremely smart. So he makes the most pure meth around, and it's just, he does so well for himself that he has to, you know, and then he basically starts going up against tougher and tougher dealers to try to sell his product, and he just doesn't care he doesn't give a fuck anymore because he knows he's dying. So he just like he's like, I'm gonna be dead, so I'm either gonna be dead and rich or I'm gonna be dead and poor. And he wants to leave money for his family, so he just like doesn't give a fuck. But by doing that, he gets more and more adrenaline, and he gets more and more hyped up. And you could see that in the writing, and you could see that in the development of his character, where he's like in the first season, he's really timid to kill like that crazy eight guy. He was the first dealer they kind of dealt with, and you know he ends up killing him with the bike lock because he's gonna shank him with the plate. And but it was a big dramatic thing for a couple episodes where, you know, it's easy, just kill him, be done with him. Then he won't come back for revenge or anything. He'll just be done. But Walt is like, no, I'm not a killer. I don't want to kill people. You know, he's a softy, right? But then, you know, he ends up being forced to kill him because he's gonna kill him with the plate. So, you know, that ends up happening. And then by the end of like I think it's season 3 or 4, where, you know, there's those drug dealers that work for Gus that killed the little kid Tomas, and you know Jesse wants revenge on them, but Jesse ends up like can't kill people. He just doesn't. He doesn't want to do it. You know, he's having second thoughts. He's high on meth to try to get himself to do it, and then all of a sudden Walt just fucking drives up and he plows them both over. Like he runs over both of them, kills the one guy, and then fucking just walks out and caps the other guy, grabs the other guy's gun and caps him in the head, and then just tells Jesse to run. Like it's just crazy when you see how he's gone from like this, like just a high school teacher, nothing, non-confrontational, right? And then by the end of the series, he's just this maniac in a sense. And part of it was just from knowing he was gonna die. So he's just like, what's the worst case? I'll be dead in 6 months from cancer. Whatever. Just kill me now. So that fear of death kind of stopped him from being timid anymore. And he was able to, you know, reach his potential. Unfortunately, in kind of a bad business, you know. But it's just, oh, I just can't believe it. It's so fun watching it. Like going through all the stages of, you know, even Jesse becoming a more mature person. And I find Jesse to be the most tragic character of the series because he becomes more hardened like Walt. The only thing is he keeps his heart, so to speak. Like by the end of the series, he's just like he's kind of out of it. He survives barely. He's a literal slave for like I think it's a year time skip they do. Like he's literally like a slave for a year, beaten like a dog into submission. And then they had that El Camino movie that was kind of based around what happened with him during that time and after. And it's just crazy to see, like, you know, he changed his character, but he never really changed. He he stayed true to his values, but he did grow. But Walter, with that fear of death, with that shadow of death kind of looming over him, always from the cancer, it managed to change his point of view on everything. And not to mention, I have to mention, like, Giancarlo Esposito. He plays Gus Fring. Everybody loves that guy. That is one of the best on-screen villains ever, because you can tell how charming he is. You can tell how good of a character he is, because everybody around him, until the end of it, until his death, pretty much, everybody sees him as this normal, good dude. That's what you see. And the one episode I always reference is the box cutter episode. It's literally called Box Cutter, and I think it's the end or the beginning of season. It's either the end of season 3 or the beginning of season 4. I think it's the beginning of season 4, actually. Now that I think about it, because I think that season ends with Jesse killing Gale. But either way, that whole scene. Oh my god, I could literally talk forever about that scene. It's a perfectly beautifully shot scene where basically Walt and Jesse are sitting in the lab. They're being kind of held at gunpoint by Gus, and I can't remember there's the Mexican guy with the dead eyes. I can't remember his name, but yeah, they're just sitting there basically waiting for Gus to arrive. And then when Gus arrives, there's this whole scene of him coming down the stairs slowly. Like, he walks in the room, he looks at them, he stares right at Walt. And like, the intimidation factor is fucking high. It's intense. He just walks down the stairs very slowly. He doesn't talk to them. He walks right past them. He walks over to the changing area, puts on some coveralls, takes off his suit. It's all done very slowly. Meanwhile, the whole time, Walt's freaking out, like, you need me, you need this, you need, trying to basically justify his existence to Gus. And he's just saying nothing. He's just taking his glasses off, putting on this fucking thing. And then he comes back to where they are. And he looks him in the eyes. And he has a box cutter in his hands. And they're all scared. And then he turns around and he slits the other guy's throat. The guy that works for him, the Mexican guy. I can't remember his name right now. I really can't remember that guy's name. But he slits his throat. And a lot of people always ask why he did that and why he didn't just kill Walt and them. But he did that because he was at Gale's apartment and he got seen by civilians. So that's why. So if somebody spotted him out of a crowd, and they kind of showed that also with the wanted posters of that guy later. So in case anybody didn't understand why Gus did that, because I remember, like, way back the first time I watched it, I kind of was wondering that. And then I thought about when I saw the wanted posters, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he did appear at Gale's apartment to, see what happened, and all those civilians saw him. So, but yeah, either way, he just fucking slits his throat. He just holds him as he dies, as he chokes out, and then his body just collapses in front of Jesse and Walt, and they're all fucking just terrified, and it probably smells bad. It's like, oh my, it's just disturbing. And then Gustavo just drops a box cutter on the ground. And it just clangs, and there's blood everywhere. And then, yeah, like, the blood is like seeping towards them. And he just goes and changes his clothes. And then that's it. He goes back up slowly, just goes back upstairs, turns around, looks at them, and says, get back to work. I think that's what he says. And then, like, he leaves. That's the scene. Like, that was such a powerful scene for no speaking from him. He was the strongest character in the room. Like, sorry, I was just checking my foot. Thought I had a bug on me. But he was the strongest character in the room. He had the biggest presence, but he didn't say a goddamn word. And that's acting. That's how good his acting was. You could tell the facial expressions, everything. He proved his point without saying it a single word. And from that point forward, he's always like an intellectual rival to, to Walt. And then by season 5, after Walt finally outsmarts him and gets Gus killed, uh, you know, that's where I've noticed in this watch through that Walt has such a different demeanor in season 5 compared to the other ones. Like that's where he goes full kind of kingpin mode, because he's like, Gustavo was this biggest drug dealer ever, the biggest guy, the head honcho, the big dog in the pool or in the pit. I don't know. He was a big guy, and he outsmarted him. So you can tell, and like when they're in the car, it's like Mike and Jesse and Walter in the car, and then Mike's like, "How'd you know it was gonna work, Walter?" And Walt's like, "Because I said so." That's all he says. He just says, "Because I said so." It's like you can tell he gets that cockiness about him. It's like it's crazy. And then obviously the series, they go through those whole like hillbilly Nazi guys, and it gets more and more tragic to the end. And then Hank's death, that part was all intense, and probably one of the, like, that scene, again, I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times, and it's never an easy scene to watch. It's very tense. You know what's gonna happen, but it's just like you're just waiting, because it's just torture. Because you're like, oh, like Hank doesn't deserve this. And that's kind of like that point of the series is where Walt has like that, almost like a negative feedback loop. He's kind of like, it's consequences at that point. Everything has kind of come full circle for him. And like he felt like this big untouchable gangster. But then he realized, just by making one tiny mistake, he fucked himself out. He got Hank killed. He got Gomi killed. And he got fucking Jesse enslaved essentially from then on. And then they stole all of his money. I think they gave him a little bit. I can't remember how much they gave him at that point. But, it's just like, it's tragic. And then ultimately there's the payoff for the audience, which is, Walt getting revenge, which is nice. But it's like there's a lot of intense scenes. And I can't even, again, the part with what's her name? Adriana, I think is her name. It's like Jesse's girlfriend at the end of the series, and like she gets fucking killed right in front of him, like because he was escaping from them a bunch of times when he was in like the basically those Nazi guys were keeping him prisoner, right, to cook for them. And yeah, like eventually he tried to escape, and so to teach him a lesson, they literally killed his girlfriend, like knocked on her door and said, "Jesse's with us," and then yeah, she's like, "Where is he?" "Oh, he's in a car over there." And then while she's looking, he he caps her in the back of the head with a silenced gun. Like that part is so hard to fucking watch, because like just the weight, it just like shows how fucking psychotic those characters are. And then when they all take revenge, and Jesse finally strangles that fucking bastard out, like, oh, so satisfying. But it's like, wow. It's just Vince Gilligan. He really is a masterful writer. And you guys might make fun of me for this, but I haven't watched Better Call Saul yet. I've been holding off because I kind of like kept forgetting about it, and then I just wanted to kind of like, I was like, I'm only gonna get to experience it once. I feel like it's like I just kind of wanted to wait, but I think I'm gonna watch it soon because I hear such good things about it. There's some people that say it's better than Breaking Bad, and I wouldn't doubt it. I've watched the first episode of Breaking or of Better Call Saul because I remember I saw it when it premiered. It was on AMC. I was at some friend's house and they had AMC Plus or whatever the fuck it's called. So it was premiering and we watched it, and it was the first episode was really good. So, yeah, I definitely will watch it sometime. But it's like it's bittersweet because I feel like it's the last Breaking Bad thing I'm gonna get to watch. Because unless they do like an extended universe, but I don't think they will. That'd be kind of stupid at this point. But either way, that was my episode talking about Breaking Bad because I love that. I love that show so much. And like I said, I want to kind of bring up more theories and stuff like that later on. Maybe talk to like Justin if he wants to come back on sometime and yeah, get an episode about that because he loves it too. And to us, it's literally it's one of the rare occasions that like television was like perfect. Like just everything. There's a couple throwaway episodes that I could do without, but like just the writing's so tight. So tight. Besides, some of the cringy dialogue and the Skylar scenes. Sorry, Skylar. But anyways, that's really all I have for you guys today. Again, I will not be on here next week. I might get another video of some other kind out. We'll see. Or a live stream. I don't know yet. It's been so hot, and I don't like to stream when it's hot out because I don't have AC, and I'm in the shitty trailer, and it's hot as fuck, so I can really only stream at night. But during the week, I can't stream at night because it's bedtime. The sun goes down like 10:30. It's insane. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I will be out visiting family next week. So there will not be a podcast next week, but there will be one the following week. So look forward to that. And if I get a live stream in between there, right on. And I will see you guys. I'll see you guys there. I'll either see you on the pod show or I'll see you on the stream show. Or somewhere else, maybe. Say my name. Well, I guess I'll let Mike Ehrmantraut take us out. Why do you want me to take you out, Walter? This thing was running like clockwork. Sorry, I can't do impressions very well. But anyways, that was stupid. I'm sorry. Can I edit that out? No? It's too late? No? It's already it's already there? Shit. Fuck. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Remember to follow the podcast on all social media. Links are in the description below. And I will see you not next week, but the week after. Bye, guys. Thanks.